We have two learning targets we're going to take a look at. The first, I can determine the mean, median, and mode of a set of data, and then I can solve real-world problems involving the mean of a data set. So what do we need to know? We have some vocab that we're going to take a look at. The first is around the idea of the mean, and the mean is the numerical average of the data set. The mean is found by adding all of the values in the set, and then we divide by the number of values. Let me say that one more time. The mean is found by adding all of the values in the set, and then we divide that sum, the answer we got, by the number of values. Okay, the median is the number that's in the middle of a set of data. You arrange the numbers in the set in order from least to greatest. They have to be in order. And then you find the number that's literally in the middle of the data set. If there isn't an actual number in the middle, let's say you have like an even amount on either side, you're going to take those two middle numbers and find the mean of those two numbers, or the average of just the two middle numbers. The mode is a piece of data that occurs most frequently in the data set. A data set can have one mode, it can have more than one mode, or it can have no mode. So we're going to take a look at each of these individually. So the mean. Step 1, add all the values. Step 2, divide the sum by the number of values. So here is a set of values that we have. We've added all of those values together and we get 783. Now we have 9 items present. So you count the actual number of pieces of data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we divide that sum by the number of values. We get 87. That is our mean. That's the average of those 9 pieces of data. Now, likewise, the median also describes the center of data, but this is exactly in the center of the data set in the physical sense. So we arranged the numbers in the set in order from least to greatest. So I took those same values, they're in order, and we find the number that's in the middle. Okay, if there are 2 values in the middle, we find the mean of those 2 values. So here I actually have a number that's in the middle. 88 is in the middle. So that is my median. Simple as that. If you're someone who kind of needs a little bit more of a visual, one thing you can do, you can always like cross off your values as you go through. Like there's the 2 in from the middle, here's 3 in the middle, 4 in the middle, and then you're left with your actual middle number that way if you need a little bit of help with managing your data set. And notice that half of the numbers are less than the median and half of the numbers are greater than the median. Okay, the third piece that we looked at was the mode. We arranged the numbers in the set in order from least to greatest. We've already done that here. And then you just find the number that occurs the most. So you look on down the line to see if we have any repeats. And I notice right here with my 97s, I have a pair of 97s. So that would be the mode. It's the number that appears the most. All right, so now would be a great time for you to pause, try this one on your own, and then come back, check your work. We're going to go through mean, median, and mode. The mean, the sum of the numbers divided by the number of items. So I'm going to add up the 9 numbers I see here. I get 763. I divide by 9. I end up with 84.7. That is my mean. My median is that middle number. It happens to be the same middle number this time, okay? The one right here in the middle. I've got 4 below it and 4 above it. And then this time when we're looking for the mode, notice that my numbers here, 73, 88, and 79 or 97, excuse me, they all appear twice. So this means that I have 3 modes because they appear more than the other numbers that only appear once. Okay, our second learning target that we're going to break down a little bit more is I can solve real-world problems involving the mean of a data set. So in our first example here, we have a teacher that counts quizzes as 30% of a student's grade and counts tests as 70% of the grade. Ezra has quiz grades of a 78, an 81, an 84, a 72, and a 90, and then test grades of a 65 and a 70. What is Ezra's final score in the class? All right, so the quizzes. We find the mean of the quizzes. To find the mean, we add up all of our quiz data. Okay, so that comes right here from the problem. These are those same 5 numbers. Okay, and notice we divide by 5 because there are 5 quizzes. When I do that, I get an average of 81 for the quizzes. Okay, we do the same thing for the tests. We find the mean of all the test scores. Okay, this time I only have 2 test scores. Okay, I've got 65 and 70, so I took those 2, I add them together, and I divide by that total number. Once I get my answer, I end up with 67.5. All right, now, so what am I going to do with this? Well, it tells me that the teacher counts quizzes as 30% and tests as 70%. So now we're going to weight those averages. Okay, so to find the final score in the class, we need to make the quizzes count for that 30% and the tests count for that 70%. So we're going to take the average of our quiz scores and we're going to multiply it by that 30% of their grade. Same with the tests. We're going to take that test average and multiply it by the 70% of the test grade. So it would look something like this. Here's that average of our quizzes, 81. We multiply that by the 0.3. That's coming from that 30%. Remember, to get a percent to a decimal, we divide by 100. Same thing for the 0.7. That's from the 70%. We divided that by 100 to get 0.7. And then we just simplify. So plug this in your calculator. You're going to end up with 24.3 plus 47.25. That total is going to be 71.55. Since we're talking about Ezra's score in the class, this would be rounded up to a 72%. That would be the average of Ezra's score in the class. We're going to take a look at one more type of example. This is a little bit different than that first example, so this is just another watch me problem. James earned scores of 87, 80, 75, and 85 on 4 English tests. What score must he earn on his next test to have an average of 85? So there are 5 tests total, including the one that James hasn't taken yet. So to find the average, just like we would if we're finding the mean of anything else, I add up all of my tests. Well, I'm given data for 4 of the tests, but I have 1 unknown. So I add it into the problem. Here's the 4 pieces of data I know, plus X, I don't know what that is, all divided by 5, because there are 5 tests. Okay, I want my average to be 85. Okay, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. So I want to know, well, what does my next test score have to be in order to get an average of 85? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this denominator here of 5 by multiplying both sides by 5. Okay, and when I do that, those 5's cancel. I've eliminated that denominator there. I undid division by multiplying by both sides. It's the multiplication property of equality. And this is what I'm left with. So 87 plus 80 plus 75 plus 85 plus X equals 425. And now I can simplify, combine those like terms, add these 4 scores together to get 327. And now I just have a simple equation. I can go ahead and move my 327 to the other side by subtracting from both sides, and I'm left with 98. So what does this mean? This means that James has to score a 98% on the next test to have an average of 85% in the class. All right, if you'd like to know more on this topic, you can check out the Learning Target spreadsheet for additional resources, videos, and practice. Thanks for watching.